This is Wani, China's disturbing death game reality show. What the freak? What are you doing, China? What are you doing? I mean, whatever it is, keep it up, because it gives Wani content, which gives me something to cringe over. But yeah, I mean, keep it up. But then again, I have to say this all the time. Every single nation literally does the exact same thing. They all do. They all do. Everyone likes to think that their nation is better when every single nation literally has the same exact problems, the same exact kind of communities, the same exact kind of people, like every single one. Every single one.
Imagine you're a celebrity in China and you get invited onto this brand new reality show where you're competing in a game of tag, being chased around the entire city. Millions of people are watching and they promise that you'll become famous. Sounds awesome, right? Until you realize that you're just a little...
It's what is it called? Squid Games. It's literally Squid Game, the reality show now.
guinea pig used for their entertainment. No food, water, or breaks. Slowly but surely, their viewership numbers depend on your suffering, which eventually led to one of the most disturbing tragedies in all of Chinese television. Yeah, so a show was released in China called Chase Me, and the premise was basically, you know what China needs? Squid Game. But with celebrities that can't quit. Yeah, instantly Chase Me reached millions of views, peaked to the popularity charts, and it was actually supposed to be the successor to The Voice of China, which has its own scandals and crazy controversies. So this was supposed to be the next big thing, and the show basically centered around one thing. Pure suffering. The celebrities were already overworked before they arrived. Filming didn't even stop until the middle of the night, like 8 p.m. all the way to 5 a.m. And almost every contestant threw up after filming. So
this is literally the Running Man game show. This is literally it. They saw the Running Man concept and were like, you know what? Let's do this. Are they, if they get tackled by someone in the city, does the city person get paid? I mean, that would be interesting. I think that would be fun. I think that would be really fun.
Exactly was Chase Me. Now, the show was produced by Zhejiang TV, and they featured 7 major celebrities. William Chan, a Hong Kong singer and actor who's incredible at fitness. Elaine Dong, a famous actress. Song Yu-Ti, a K-pop group member. And Lucas, a famous Chinese rapper. Plus 3 others, but we're focusing on these 4 mainly because they had the most screen time. And why? They suffered the most. And just taking a look at the show, instead of building some fake TV sets, they literally transformed Ningbo City into the game itself. And when I say transformed, I mean 300,000 square meters turned into one gigantic playground. The concept was simple. It's basically an extremely expensive game of tag, except you're being chased by professional athletes. The show marketed itself around 3 core ideas: night, chase, and race. Celebrities would get a head start before the chasers were released, and if you were caught, game over. But the celebrities weren't just running. They were swinging, climbing, jumping, solving physical obstacles, all while knowing that an elite athlete is rapidly closing the distance on them. And honestly, the visual design kind of makes you forget how dangerous everything actually is, because, I mean, the entire thing looked like something out of Tron. But unlike Tron, you know, if something went wrong here, there's no response. Now, these athletes that were chasing the celebrities weren't your average Joe Schmo, okay? Oh no, they basically assembled the entire Avengers of Chinese reality shows. We're talking bodybuilding champions, elite basketball players, martial artists, combat athletes. One of them was literally a SWAT team member. Meanwhile, the celebrities, their whole day basically consists of filming dramas and doing interviews. You see the problem here? And looking at the obstacles, yeah, it was no joke. The first one was called the Giant Beetle. It was basically a giant enclosed climbing structure with 3 different internal routes. Contestants had to crawl through it using ropes while climbing over walls inside. Mess up, and you fall right into this enormous ball pit. Now, normally, this sounds like every kid's dream, you know? But when you're exhausted, every single movement sinks you deeper. The next one was called the Hive Wormhole. This thing was a giant vertical maze made up of 30 honeycomb-shaped chambers. And memorizing the path was completely useless because it constantly kept changing. And after escaping that nightmare maze, you had to face something called the Swaying Bamboo Forest. This obstacle stretched 20 meters and was filled with these vertical poles that constantly moved around. So every single step, the platforms are shifting around and your balance is disappearing. And remember, you've already been sprinting.
Honestly, this is the MXC show. Let me see if I can find a... Did anyone ever see that back in the day? Did anyone ever see that? What was it called? Oh, hey, I'm live. Come on. MXC Spike TV. Spike TV, there it is. Did anyone ever see this? Is this a trailer? You know what? I'm gonna just...
And here's Terry Purdue. She's a clown shoe resoler.
You know what they say about clowns with big feet?
Oh, yeah. Oh! Here's Rob Tussin. He was very impressive in the warm-ups. And...
Oh, God, he's still going. Oh, how can he? Oh, he must be feeling really stupid.
I don't think he's feeling anything from the neck down, Ken. Here's Kenny earlier this afternoon.
Oh. I tested the wall first. It's pretty solid.
Good thinking, Ken.
The funny thing is, this stuff, it still, no matter what, still makes a laugh. So this was a real reality TV show that the America had purchased the rights to and just turned the whole thing into a comedy show. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. This is the best bit of nostalgia ever.
Wow, that looks smart on you.
For my homies. Yeah, fits good. It's
Good
kind of itchy,
flexibility.
though.
Let's see how Kenny Blankenship does with the Boulder Dash suit. Ooh,
Into the slit.
looks like you've got good mobility, Ken.
Yeah, it's kind of itchy. I should have washed it first.
Well, Bob down there.
Yeah, well, I had to kick that guy's ass. He wouldn't let me in. And then he trips me right here.
Kenny, you don't seem to be really testing your suit. There you are. Now. Ah,
I was screaming for dramatic effect.
well, I was moved by it. And here you are, ready to take on the second boulder. Wow.
Oh,
Smoking.
again, that classic. Absolute classic. MXC is still one of the greatest. One of the greatest. We did the same with dubbing. Yeah, it's so perfect. So perfect. Now, that is how those game shows should be done. That is absolutely. They should be recorded as a serious thing, but then it should be done after the fact where it's voiceovered and the whole thing should be made entertaining. Because that was just hilarious. We had it as well, Hindi dubbed. It was funny AF. Yeah. It's just classic, absolute classic.
Through an entire city before getting here. And so far, all these obstacles were the
Kenny
preparation for one
Blankenchips.
finale. The final challenge required contestants to rope climb a 20-story building, then immediately jumping off to zipline down into the finish line. Yeah, a 20-story building. Maybe they're trying to cast the next Chinese Tom Cruise. Now, don't get me wrong, these obstacles were tough, but what made this extremely brutal was the running. Throughout the episode, the celebrities kept saying the same thing over and over again. I'm tired, I can't do this, okay? I'm exhausted. And the production's response? They keep filming, because the show must go on. I mean, the whole reason that these celebrities participated in the show was to boost their popularity to get acting gigs and more followers. This was also a brand new, heavily promoted reality show that China had never seen before, so it was a huge opportunity. This basically meant that quitting would cut their screen time and make them look weak in front of millions. In fact, the red flags had already started in the first episode. One of the most dangerous examples happened to Zhou Shiming. He wasn't some regular celebrity. He was an Olympic boxing champion, one of China's most accomplished combat athletes, so if anyone was prepared, he was definitely the one. But during one of the challenges, Zhou failed and he fell into one of the ball pits. At first, it didn't seem like a huge deal, but then his legs started cramping up severely and he could not get out. At the same time, he started having heavy breathing issues due to the exhaustion. And instead of immediately rushing to aid him, the production team just kept filming. It wasn't until other members started shouting for someone to help that they finally went and brought him back up. And once viewers noticed this, they start seeing a pattern because every time somebody was struggling or got seriously hurt, the production team would just constantly delay their rescue and keep filming them, pretty much pushing the celebrities' limits to see how far they could go or like how much they could suffer before something happened, basically putting them on the brink of death. And those were the clips that went viral. And then another thing.
See, this is why we need more MXC. No matter what, those always would go viral. Get the dubbing perfect and you just make it so entertaining. You laugh your head off. You have a good time. You have a good time.
Happened. Elaine Zhong said that her head went completely numb after doing one of the races. She ended up quitting only after 2 episodes and said, "My heart couldn't take it anymore." She later revealed that it took her over half a month just to recover from those recordings. It was so physically demanding that she had to take nitroglycerin pills for 3 days straight after filming. This is supposed to be a reality show, okay? Not military training. She also explained that the show was genuinely unscripted, like nobody had any idea what was going on. They didn't know what challenges they were about to face because the production purposefully kept it a secret. By the way, I got going for you. You're climbing a skyscraper today. Also, another contestant, Lucas, the rapper, he like kept falling to the ground because they decided to film on the rainy days. Listen, as long as your bones aren't broken, the show goes on. And then there was Song Yu-T, who participated in one of the episode's finales. Yeah, that 20-story building, it's obvious that she was terrified. I mean, she was shaking and like honestly scared. But you really don't have a choice because your public image is on the line. The celebrities reportedly weren't given any food or water as well. And almost every single—
Nah, it's Chinese Running Man. The Running Man. That's what this is. That's what this is. And what's funny is it's the rich and wealthy that are being put in the Running Man. In the Running Man, at least it was the nobodies, the poverty people that were doing it for money. No, they're getting famous people doing it. Why? They could easily be strapped with health sensors. They are almost invisible nowadays. Yeah, they could easily be done, but they don't. They don't.
One of them ended up vomiting after completing the course. And according to multiple reports, if the celebrities refused to work overtime, they would be threatened with malicious editing. The scenes could easily be edited and taken out of context, and your entire career would just be wiped out if you were portrayed as rude or annoying. What's also extremely weird is that the program allegedly had the celebrities sign different contracts that were designed specifically for each and every one of them, which also demanded that they bear all the consequences themselves. And unfortunately, on just the 4th episode of Chase Me, a horrific tragedy happened. This was one of the darkest moments in all of Chinese television history. 35-year-old Godfrey Gao was one of Taiwan's most recognizable actors. characters. People knew him as someone who quietly worked incredibly hard throughout his entire acting career. Many netizens first became familiar with him in his 2013 romance drama Remembering Li Chuan. At the same time, Gao was continuing working on new dramas, new shows, and just overall building his career. And physically, he was in great shape. I mean, he loved sports, especially basketball. He took his fitness and his acting career extremely seriously. He once said in an interview, "From the beginning of my career until now, I have been working hard. I've tried my best to audition and act just to get a better platform." And sadly, that explained why Chase Me was a perfect show for him. For celebrities, these variety shows are one of the most fastest and effective ways to stay relevant. They generate huge publicity, and for someone who was actively building their acting career, it was a huge opportunity. So on the afternoon of November 26, 2019, Godfrey Gao arrived on set super excited for the show. At first, he participated in the MXC Suspension Bridge Challenge. Then at around 1:26 a.m., his run began. This was one of the major track sections, and after running over 600 meters and navigating through multiple obstacles, immediately something looked wrong, and he was clearly struggling to breathe. You could actually see him slowing down. He looked completely drained. Step by step, he bent over repeatedly, moving incredibly slowly before finally disappearing into one of the buildings. And then he spoke what would become his final words: "I can't go on." Seconds later, he collapsed, and the cameras just kept filming. Those 16 seconds of footage would become the last 16 seconds we see of Godfrey Gao. Early on the morning of November 27th, 2019, Godfrey Gao was pronounced dead after suffering cardiac arrest. This was absolutely heartbreaking, and it made people realize how disgusting the show really is. The news spread across Chinese social media.
Yeah, the fact that people can wear rings that monitor your heart. People can wear watches that monitor your heart. People can wear armbands. People can have a patch. There are so many things out there that are so easy, so microscopic, and most of them come from China. So, go figure that it would have been so easy for them to add those features to it. Where just imagine like you're watching this reality show where you have these people running and you can see their heart rate and everything. I think that would be incredibly entertaining for the audience to see, like, oh my gosh, look at him. He's really trying hard. He's really pushing himself. I think that would be incredibly great. But no, they decide to just rather have them die on set than building the tension. Because yeah, watching a heart, like in movies, everyone's seen a film where you're seeing the person in the bed, like a hospital bed, and you hear the beeping, like, the heartbeat in the background, the pace monitor, whatever it is, like you hear it in the background. And then you hear it blink more slowly, and then slowly, and then slowly, and then flatline. I mean, that alone can build tension. They could have easily done something like that for this show where it gets more intense. You hear the heartbeat beep, 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 because they're running fast. It's pumping a lot of blood. And then as it slows down, it's like, all right, this seems dangerous. Something's happening. I think that would have been good. I think that would have upped the intensity, and the creators would have been like, oh, something's wrong here. Let's get a paramedic in. We're going to pause it. Like, that would have been cool. That would have made more sense.
Like wildfire, and people were outraged. The show and the production team were getting absolutely flamed because this was the first time in a very long time that a Chinese celebrity had actually lost their life while filming a reality show. According to the witnesses, some of the production staff initially thought that Gao's collapse was a part of the performance. They thought he was acting, and because of this, he missed that vital window to be rescued. People compared the incident to what had happened earlier with So Shiming falling in the ball pit. And several on-site witnesses claimed that there was a huge delay before the rescue efforts actually began. According to a netizen that was there, fellow contestant Johnny Huang had repeatedly shouted for the film crew to stop filming and rescue him quickly. Yet the filming just continued. You would think that after something this horrible that the show would have been cancelled immediately. But it wasn't. Instead, they released a statement saying that they would deeply reflect on the reasons for the accident, conduct a comprehensive investigation into all aspects of the program's recording, and do a better job in ensuring the program's safety. Needless to say, people were even more furious after that. There's a detail I don't understand. Since there were already 2 ambulances at the scene, why was another ambulance called around 2 p.m.? Were 2 ambulances not enough, or did the emergency equipment listed in the statement not exist? Was the CPR performed by an amateur driver? Obviously, they didn't have an ambulance or a doctor. They saved that money to buy themselves a burial plot. And only after 1 week of overwhelming backlash did Chase Me finally get cancelled. So it took nearly an entire week of public outrage before they decided to pull the plug, meaning that there was actually a chance they would continue with the rest of the episodes. The show's—
And honestly, that show it makes sense. It does seem like it'd be a good, entertaining show, but you're putting people through hell. Like, if there were systems in place to monitor them and make sure their health is not too bad, like, let's say you do this, where you have the show, but it's not rich people, it's like poor people. And then you have one contestant who's running, and let's say we'll have an obese group. You'll have an obese group, a women's group, whatever group, just a bunch of groups. So you'll have one person who's running for their life. However, you will have 10 chasing him The person, if he runs and successfully gets away, he gets all the cash. However, if like, so it's like $10,000. That's a huge sum. $10,000. He gets $10,000 if he escapes all the fatties. However, if one of the fatties catches him, one of the 10 fatties, they get $1,000. It'd be more entertaining. You would see the fatties and it'd push them to exercise. And you could do the same thing with like bodybuilders. You could do the same thing with athletes where you push them, but you have to keep an eye on their heart. You have to keep an eye on like and you have to have doctors who are actually monitoring the situation, being like, you know what? This 400-pound guy, his heart rate is a little too escalated. Let's do a pause. Let's get him a chair and a bucket of chicken. Give him 10 minutes, and then we'll continue the run. Let's run it back.
Director and producers were both dismissed, and many of the production staff were actually held accountable for this. The fellow contestants were heartbroken by the news, and they all made their own comments of condolences to their friends and families. And main netizens also accused the network of clearly exploiting and torturing these celebrities for entertainment. Ultimately, the controversy surrounding Chase Me is still to this day one of the most tragic incidents to occur in all of Chinese television. To try to end it on a lighter note, after Godfrey's passing, his legacy continued. Many of his fans had been using his name to do charity work. They contributed toward an educational charity using his name, which provided a library for children in rural communities. His love for basketball was also a very important part of the way people remembered him. Jeremy Lin once attended a Chinese Basketball Association event wearing a suit that Godfrey had given him. And Godfrey Gao's Guangzhou charity group raised so much that a basketball court was given to a school in Anhui province. He was also recognized beyond the Chinese entertainment industry. His image appeared during the Academy Awards tribute to members of the film industry who had passed away. Then in September of 2022, Godfrey's family unveiled a statue to remember him. The statue can be found at Jinbaoshan Memorial Ground, the place where Godfrey was laid to rest. Going forward in the future, sports-themed variety shows are now subject to strict review, and also the scope will not just be limited to TV programs, but just all shows in general. But the thing is, as long as demand exists, shows like Chase Me will always come back with some new type of variation. And in cases like this, the shows will use the celebrities for entertainment, knowing that the celebrities need to rely on these shows to stay relevant. At the end of the day, these shows are made for us, the audience, but no amount of ratings or record-breaking viewership is ever worth someone's life. So yeah, that was the story of China's Chase Me reality show. Let me know your guys' thoughts. It's always good to just keep in mind that
honestly, bring back the MXC. Bring back the MXC. Just show a rerun of MXC. That was still one of the greatest. One of the greatest, the top tier, the absolute top tier. It is so funny. It is so funny because, again, I understand that there's a market for these reality game shows. There always is. A lot of it is normally just like something like, what was it? I think I saw on my newsreel that like Google News, I was looking through my phone, that Ben Affleck was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, or like Smarter Than a Fifth Grader or something, and he won $1 million for charity. Woo! It was all performative. I mean, still charity, great, absolutely, but that whole thing's performative. It's there just to get his name out there once again. I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, it's nice. It's great to hear. It's great to see. But at the same time, a lot of it is just people wanting to be famous, continuous to be famous. I mean, that's why I think I've never cared to like watch the Mr. Beast stuff. I think that kind of stuff is very, if I am offered a chance at $1 million, like what I hear is like people stay locked in a building for months on end. If I'm offered at a chance at $1 million, would I take it? Like, if I wasn't married, I'd be like, yeah, I'd have no problem with that. But it's just so insane. So insane. Of course, I've never actually seen a Mr. Beast video, so I don't know exactly how they are. But he does a lot of game shows like that, where he pits like influencers against influencers, streamers against streamers, random poor people against random poor people who can survive in a locked room for 24 hours or an entire month. You know, that kind of stuff. That kind of very, very insane stuff. Again, I've never seen one of his videos, so I can't really say for sure. But at the same time, I don't care for that stuff. I don't care for that stuff. It's just not something I really care about. And then it's just the people who are there, especially when it's like influencers and streamers. They're only there to get their name out there to another group of people. That's it. That's all they're there for. That's why they're a complete nuisance the entire time. A complete nuisance. I think charity is BS, the convenient way to reroute money to your bank. I'm glad you said it and I didn't. I'm glad you said it and I didn't, because it's like I have a very skeptical look on charity. A very skeptical look. Like, I understand charity is good and all, but I have a very skeptical look of it, because I've just seen the back end. I've seen the back end, and it is not very it's not very charitable. I'll just say that. Charity is not very charitable, at least from what I've seen on the back end. A lot of charities are just front for a rich and whitewash their money. Yeah. It's a way of cleaning their money. It's a way of making sure the money stays their own. Like, I've told this many times, like, I was once at a place where this person, this rich family, donated a tractor to an auction. So the money they paid for the tractor is now tax deductible. They go to the auction, they buy the tractor back. The purchase they made for the tractor is tax deductible. So in the end, this $30,000 tractor they spend $10,000 for. Most people would love to utilize that avenue in order to spend a little money for something very expensive, but most people can't, because most people can't afford that kind of investment. Because it's like they invested, I think it was like $80,000 up front, and then finally when tax season runs around, they recoup like $70,000. So in the end, they only paid $10,000 for it. But that's how it works. It's a whole chain of events that they utilize to keep their wealth. And again, they're utilizing what's there for them, apparently. Even though I don't agree with it, but I've seen firsthand how it's charities aren't always charitable. Aren't always charitable.
You guys got a video? It's so bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait like that.